How's it going, everybody? My name is Tim.
And I'm Paul.
So, Paul, you were mentioned in the intro that we bring on other trainers and other clients and things like that. And we know your name is Paul, especially because the name tag down there. But can you introduce yourself to the podcast a little more thoroughly?
Yeah, so I've been a personal trainer since about 2013. Yeah, January or December 2012. January 2013 is when I got certified to begin with. So I've been doing this for about 11 years at least now. And I've got an online app that people can download for 15 bucks a month that gives them, 3, 4, 5, and 6 day week workout programs, corrective exercise programs, uh, cardio programs, core programs, you name it. It's got a lot of stuff on there for everybody to be able to succeed, even at home. So whatever I try to give my clients everything they can possibly, you know, get. And then I've got a bodybuilding certification, a glute certification, and a corrective exercise and personal training certification.
You got programs.
Oh yeah, programs on
uh,
programs on programs.
is there anything new happening in your life?
Let's see. We have a
Oh, by the way, just a side thing note for the audience. Me and Paul do most of our talking actually during this podcast, a little bit before, a little bit after. But that way we can keep it fresh. And I'm learning about anything new in Paul's life, and he's learning anything new in my life during this podcast. So away we go.
Yeah, so a new Star Wars game just dropped. It's called Star Wars Unlimited, and it is a card game. And so basically, I've just been collecting that, learning about that, making some videos on that, on top of the Star Wars Legion that I've got, and yeah, working my way up on subscribers, trying to almost hit 1,000. I'm only about 140 away, a little less than that, and
Very nice.
yeah. So I'm hoping to continue doing a lot of the Star Wars content on top of the fitness content that we do every Wednesday, and whatever else that I add to the app. What about you, man? What's
Awesome.
what's new?
Well, first, I have a question about the Star Wars card game. Is it kind of like Star Wars Legion? For the audience, me and Paul play Star Wars Legion. I haven't played it in a minute, but I know the rules still. And Paul, he is my sensei on on that. But is it similar to the game, or is it more of like a deck builder? Or
Yeah, so it's really a deck building game, and it you would make like a deck list, kind of like you would almost like a Legion list, but you've got a commander, and then you got a base, and then the whole goal is to just get the person's base down to zero. And they've released set one. Set two is going to be in like June, I think, and then set three is in November. And it's increasingly getting more and more awesome to see what's going on out there and the things that will be coming out. And I feel like I'm going to be going broke very quickly because this game is turning out to be a really huge hit. They actually sold out, and so many people are getting into it. I mean, some cards are going for 850 bucks.
whoa,
Yeah. So
for all you card collectors out there, watch out.
yeah, and so it's an amazing game. I've sunk a lot of money into it so far, and it's only the first set. So if I keep up this pace, I will literally be broke by the third set.
Well, you know what you like, and I get my my Star Wars news from Paul, and so this is great. This is great news for me. I know that 80% of you guys probably won't care about this part of the podcast, but stay tuned. There's fitness coming. Uh, but it real side note. I don't want to get into the weeds about Star Wars, but is there an online version to where we can play together, possibly?
TTS. It's actually on
Yeah.
TTS, so you can have any card you want already on there.
All right. So that actually alludes to what's going on with me. Uh, I don't think any of you know this, but I stream on Twitch for gaming. Everyone needs. I'm a high performance AAA battery when it comes to, and so is Paul. I believe that most entrepreneurs are. It's kind of a have to part of yourself, but we go, and then finding that one thing that's silly and something that interests you that isn't entirely productive, it can be productive. And knowing entrepreneurs, you're probably going to make it productive anyways. But mine is PS5 with my buddy Tyler in Florida. And we stream on Twitch. And so one of my clients found out about this, and now he wants to play with us. And so I'm like, you know what? It's already paying off. So
Yeah, that's it.
yeah,
More involvement with clients. That's
yeah,
good.
it's kind of building the community for anybody that's more towards the nerd side. I've realized that I can use it to kind of tighten up the community after hours. where it's not in a drinking setting because things can go awry that way. Different people mixed with alcohol sometimes goes bad, and I don't take chances. So I never drink with my clients, but I'll definitely play some video games and then school them in some Fortnite. But yeah, so that's a little bit of the personal news for old Timbo. But is there anything that you wanted to talk about fitness wise before we start spieling into everything?
No, I'm actually just doing a normal split right now. I do a symmetry split for myself. So I
Mm,
do an agonist antagonist workout style. So whenever I do shoulders, I do pull downs. Whenever I do chest, I do rows, and then arms, and then legs. So there's 4 different days. And then on the fifth day, I'll just do a full body. And that's separated by rest days on either side. So right before the full body day on Saturday, Friday, and Sunday are rest days. And then the rest of the week, I'm going for the symmetry, basically. So yeah, that's fitness wise for me outside of the subject for today. What about for you, man?
okay. So a little bit about the business. I am getting a deep freezer today, and I'm a little worried because it's off Facebook Marketplace. But the guy seems he's like in his 50s. He seems like a normal dude. It's not a sketch ball, and he's delivering it, and that's a plus too. It's only 120 bucks. So I'm it's 7 cubic feet of freezer space. And so I'm going to be starting my meal prep with the meat that I'm getting from Rangeland Farms. They pay me in meat. Anybody that they partner with, they pay in product, and I'm going to be using that to cut costs on my food service business, my meal prep business. Still ironing out all the kinks. I can't exactly start yet until I have a list now. Before, I believe last podcast, I did a whole stress ball uh, word vomit of everything that I was working on because I was like, and this, and I have that, and this came up. And but it's a little more organized now. That's basically how I do it. I throw it at, a scatter plot, and then I start to arrange. And I'm like, okay, now it's a list, and now I can make it. So I need my food service certification, my food handling certification, my FDA approved food safety course. I need to cook it in a certified commercial kitchen that has been health inspected and zone inspected. And I'm just going to do a shared space kitchen that's already taken care of all the legal space. So that's half of the stuff I don't have to worry about. And I just have to pay rent. So yeah, and then there's something in Colorado called a cottage license in order to even sell food. So there's 5 things I need to get, and yeah, but I know that there's a demand because I already have 5 clients that they caught wind that I'm going to do this, and they're all like, "Sign me up, I'm ready," and I'm excited because and the reason why I'm talking about this is actually um draws towards one of the topics I wanted to talk about today, which is and sometimes some of our podcast is question based, where I ask the co-host questions, and sometimes it's topic based, where we have stuff we want to talk about and we get to it. Today I'm gonna do more of the question based towards Paul. Um, how do you handle a client that absolutely refuses to change their nutrition?
So there's only so much that you can do, and there's only so much that you can tell them. And really, it just comes down to how it truly will affect them. And if you can open their eyes to, they're going to ignore this, they're going to ignore a lot of other aspects in their life. And, you know, nutrition is very important. And Brad Schoenfeld actually revealed a study today that he's been working on that
Mm,
proved, I don't know if you saw this, that, eating at about a 500 calorie surplus, there's an ability to build muscle and lose weight all at the same time. It is possible, scientifically speaking, now. So if they don't want to take care of their diet, like you cannot out train a bad diet. You will never
yeah,
see the results that you want to see if you're eating that way. And if that's how it wants to be for you, then by all means that's fine, whatever. Because I'm trying to be here to make you healthier and to make you look good and to feel good and to give your life a better quality of life. So if you don't want to follow, a nutritional guide, then you're just not going to see the results. You're paying for failure almost. So it's just kind of like, what's the
They're
point?
paying for a workout buddy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, by all means, if you're just here to work out to try and strain the heart, stress the muscles, and try to, at least somewhat be active, then that's your goal. That's fine. But I cannot force anyone to eat healthy. I can only just reveal like this is going to be almost pointless, except for just getting your heart rate up and trying to do a little thing. So, yeah, that's about it. How do
Yeah.
you tend to deal with those
So
clients?
I have a couple clients right now. I have a couple clients where one of them, he is on whatever I say food wise, he does it and he sees immediate results. And Duncan, he's been on the podcast before, and he's the one I like to brag about because he's the perfect client. You ask him to do something, he takes it dead serious and he does it. And he does it to an extreme, almost to where you gotta say, "Oh, hold on, let's 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 bring it down a little bit." But he is going to be doing so. He was on a bulk for 3 months, and now we're going to be shocking his system with a very low calorie diet, but high nutrition density profile. To where multivitamins, making sure that greens, peppers, onions, fungi are all in the diet. Mainly high protein for at least 500 of the calories alone, and very low calorie for his size. And it's only going to be for 2 weeks, and then we're going to see where he's at. We're checking his muscle content and his fat content, and the second he starts losing muscle at a rapid rate, he has to stop. The maximum he can do it is 4 weeks. I'm guessing 2 to 3 weeks is about where we're going to stop. And if he starts losing muscle at a pace that out outranks, he's gained enough muscle to where he can lose a little bit, and we're wanting to shock his system calorically and basically go on a crash diet just for a small amount of time. And this is somebody that I can do this with because I know he'll listen to exactly what we're doing. Like make sure he drinks beef broth, chicken stock, things that are high in amino acids and fatty lipids that aren't high in calories. I say fatty lipids, but you know what I'm saying. The nutrition density, making sure that that is the main focus, so that he doesn't start deteriorating both mentally and physically during a low calorie diet. That is one of the main problems that people do whenever they, I call it basic bitch dieting, where they're it's the 1,200 calorie diet, and then they're running their buns off and they're not lifting whatsoever, and they're basically starving themselves. They have no idea about nutrition, and so they're eating Slim Jims and crackers. And that's their entire diet, or rice cakes, and it's basically just filler stuff to keep them full, but they're not thinking about nutrition density and nutrition profile and footprint. So we're experimenting with that for about a month. That is the amazing side of the spectrum when it comes to clients and them listening to your nutrition, basically agenda and profile program. Now you have the other one on the opposite side of the spectrum, where they want it, but they don't want to change. And my my attempt for them is, okay, if since they're overeating, let's gain muscle either way, even though it's going to be slower than if their nutrition density was higher. And where I can control the workout. I can advise on the nutrition, but I can't control the nutrition. That's actually one of the reasons why I'm starting the food prep business, is because now I can control the nutrition at least more than I could before. I can't stop them from going to Dairy Queen, but I can at least provide them with a high nutrition density, dense meal, and them seeing the benefits, and hopefully psychologically and habit wise they change by seeing that good food does not have to be boiled chicken and basically boiled potatoes with no taste. That's a lot of people's thinking. They associate healthy eating with bland and tasteless, or even tasting bad, when honestly, if you know how to cook, you can make a smacking meal that tastes amazing, and it's highly nutritious, highly good for you, especially if you know what to use seasoning wise, how to cook, different temps, cooking lengths, time wise, and things like that. So I try to emphasize all of my training style when it comes to nutrition is not to take away and be a Hitler and to like dictate and say, no, you can't have this. My training style is to push as much yeses in front of them that they don't have room for anything else. And so I give them if they won't change immediately, I give them one goal at a time, small goals. So we've talked about this before. Let's meet your protein needs. That's the first goal. Second goal is it's not exactly carb cycling, but carb timing around your workout. We talked about a eating pattern where it's fat in the morning, high fat in the morning, low carb around your workout. And then if you're gonna eat after that at night, then high fat, low carb, so that you don't have extra energy while you sleep, uh, which is carbs. It's just riding on fat. I make that into a structure, and I have since I started realizing that all clients are different, and some are yes men, and some are it's like pulling teeth. The pulling teeth nutrition kind of clients, they require, in my opinion, in my experience, they require a soft approach where it's almost like you got to trick them into doing it. But you're telling them what's going on the entire time, but small goals, one at a time. And then whenever they're successful at that goal, you then add another one. And so my pseudo client, so I don't name names, is Bob. Let's say Bob is 260 pounds and he drinks margaritas all the time. And alcohol addiction is another psychological thing where if the best option would be to work alongside a therapist with training, but if that's not an option, I I wouldn't say have the privilege, but I have the experience of alcoholism. I used to be an alcoholic for 6 years, and so I can coach them through that while I'm also telling them, hey, I'm not a qualified psychiatrist. I can't exactly advise you on this, but I can tell you that it is possible, and I will tell you the benefits of not drinking alcohol while you're trying to lose weight. And so we work on those small victories, and we work on one thing at a time. And it is a longer process, but I've found a little bit of success there. There is another type of client though, and you mentioned it, where they're perfectly happy with just trying to be active, help their heart. They're usually the older crowd where they're trying to live longer, feel good, and not be in pain. They're not entirely worried about getting sculpted and shrinking down. They're more worried about general health. For those are easy clients, even though inside, like I had one today, Bobette, where uh, she she told me, she's like, hey, I'm gonna eat what I'm gonna eat. I eat candy all the time, but I am trying to change my habits because I know that they're beneficial, but I'm not entirely worried about it. And so at that point, even though as a personal trainer and a nutrition specialist, I want everything to be perfect with a client. I kind of have to accept that sometimes that's not their goal. And maybe over time I can convince them, but not by, shoving it down their throats. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's kind of my method. If it's somebody that wants it, but they just habitually don't change, I take the soft approach and small steps, and then try to control as much as I can, like coming up with services like the meal prep and things like that, and then doing positive reinforcement whenever they do well, and then kind of emphasizing the negative effects because Bob came in and I knew he was hungover, and his strength dropped like 30 to 50%. And I was like, hey, we're not getting much done today, and I'm expensive. like, like, come on, man. And so,
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
when you're dehydrated, your performance drastically decreases.
Absolutely.
Like just
And you have brain fog too.
yeah, just like 2% of your I think 1 or 2% of your body weight in water gone, your performance drops like 30% or something like that.
Yeah. I've worked out hungover before. Back, like I said, I used to be an alcoholic, and that was a regular thing for me. There's something called alcohol math, where you're like, okay, if I drink two more, by 2 a.m. Then by 8 a.m., I should be good. And then I can work out at 4 p.m. And it never works. It's never a good thing.
I was about to say, there's usually four questions I ask everybody if they're not having like the best workout. It's how was your sleep? How was your stress? How much food have you had? And how much water have you had? Looks like I'm gonna have to start asking them how drunk are they,
Yeah.
or how
Like,
hungover are they?
have you had any alcohol in the last 24 hours?
Yes, yes.
And they're sneaky about it too. That's the thing. It's not something people want to talk about. So, before we move on, is there anything else you want to talk about that?
Um, no, yeah, just yeah, yeah. That's it. That's good.
Well, speaking of the psychological benefits, last podcast we talked a little bit at the end about the non-tangible benefits of working out, and working out being resistance training, cardio, basically showing up to the gym and actually doing something. And there's different benefits per category, but I wanted to talk about a few things and get a little personal on my side and how it's affected me in my life. But first, how has it affected you? And just personality wise, and just how has it bettered your life? Not exactly physically, but mentally, and just lifestyle and habits and things like that.
So I've seen it affect me and multiple clients very beneficially. I've had a few clients who have had depression and a bunch of other like issues that they were going through, and working out has drastically improved their mental outlook and just the quality of life they had. So for me, um, I used to be a fat kid when I was younger, and so working out definitely helped. I lost 50 pounds basically throughout high school from just running and eating better. So it definitely had a much better mental effect on my mentality and confidence. And I feel like that's a huge thing that people see when they start working out is their confidence goes up, their ability to feel better when they're playing any sports goes up, whenever they're performing or doing something. Because I train actors or actress. I train who's been in commercials, and she actually does the Powerball Lotto. I've trained a musician that performs constantly everywhere. So there's a lot of people who I do train, and they say that it's paid off a lot whenever they're either on stage or in front of a camera. And so that's one thing that working out can really help with is just the mentality you have about yourself and your confidence and what you're doing. And and working out produces stress on the body, and it's manageable stress, which is great because if you have no stress introduced into your life, you will fail at life, period, because you won't know how to handle stress. Small situations, big situations. Being in the gym truly gets you ready for everyday life, because I always tell my clients, and I think I've said this before, that working out is a mental game. It is pretty much like, can you get through this? A lot of people who I see quit during a set, so like it gets too rough, too tough for them, and then they put the weights down, and they're like, yeah, I'm good, I'm done with that one because I can't do anymore. I'm like, you probably had five more left in you. I I truly think that they're possibly the type of people who, if they get a little too overwhelmed, their anxiety kicks in and they can't handle anything. So if you can push your Golgi tendon organs, which your GTO is in a muscle, and it's kind of like the guy in the cockpit who's like, all right, yeah, we're getting too much stress. We need to make sure we shut this down. Well, if you can train that and push your pain threshold to get stronger and better, and push through exercises that you don't think you can do, and eventually you do it, you feel powerful. Like there's some women who I've given weights. There's a lady today who I gave 30s to do shoulder presses with, and she was able to do them. And she was like, I just want to lift heavy now, because she felt so much better and just felt powerful and great. And so she's been lifting heavy ever since, also because she doesn't want to do lots of reps. She's just like, give me something heavy to do fewer reps with, and I'm good with that. So
Yeah.
I get that quite a bit from her. But yeah, mentally and psychologically, being able to lift heavy and or accomplishing exercises and or using a weight you aren't used to, it's a confidence booster and a mental booster. And yeah, there's nothing like it. I also watch Tim Pool on Timcast, and he finally started working out and gained and hired a trainer, and he said he used like 30 or 35s, and when he was done with exercise, he felt like he could take on a bear. So I get
Yeah,
that, and I see that in real life. So there's not words to describe the feeling that you get when you're done accomplishing something you didn't think was possible. So that's something that people need to take in.
I agree. And those are amazing client stories. I'm going to add with a few of my client stories, and then I'll talk about how it's affected me personally.
Yeah.
You mentioned somebody that didn't basically anytime they're stressed, whether physically or mentally, it's hard for them to handle. I have a client right now. We're going to call her Bobette, and she tries to talk through the session more than actually work out, because we get set up and we're doing just an incline push up, so where the surface is elevated and it's to almost a 45-degree angle, and we are so that through trigonometry she is actually less weight than if she was flat on the floor doing push-ups. We're at an upwards angle, and we get down, we're focusing on the form, we're doing light so that we can focus on the form more, get her shoulders back and down, everything ready. And she does one. And then she's like, okay, that was hard. And then she starts talking about her kids. I'm like, all right, let's do let's do another one. And let's do 6 in a row. Let's do 12 in a row. And it's just like, I'm not complaining about my clients. I love my clients. But it sometimes is like pulling teeth, or trying to put cats in the bag. Trying to get Bobette to do consecutive full um, full sets. And we finally did, I think, for the first time last session. And I was like, all right, are you glad you did that? And she was like, I didn't. It was hard, but I pushed through it, and she seemed proud of herself. And I was like, all right, let's make this a trend, and we'll see how that goes. But it's you can see the light in their eyes whenever they accomplish something, and that accomplishment is literal. It actually happened, and they earned it. Fitness is the only thing I know that you pay a trainer, and there's options for supplements and things like that, but you still have to work. You're still the one doing the work, and fitness is one of the only things that you cannot buy. You can buy synth oil and muscle implants, but one, those look hideous, and two, you're not actually strong or any healthier. You're actually less healthy. And it's fitness is one of the only things that you can obtain yourself with your own two hands and feet, and it's not something that you can buy. And through the clients and the years that I've seen, I have another client, and he is somebody that does not think very highly of himself, and he is constantly downing himself, or was constantly downing himself, overthinks everything, a little paranoid, and that's how I met him. Now we've been working together for about a year and a half. Now he stands taller. He is much more confident. He is like an entirely different person. And when somebody challenges, he has something in his life that he didn't want people to know. And now he basically wears it on his sleeve. And when somebody challenges him, he doesn't just back down or get upset and things like that. He's like, you can think what you think, but you can tell that he loves himself. And that's one of the things that you gain through consistent accomplishments that you've earned. Some of the things that I wanted to list just from the benefits of working out that isn't gains and you can run faster and your heart's healthier. Some of the non physical things, uh, hormonal balance. When you are healthy, or let's start the opposite, when you are unhealthy, your hormones are totally out of whack. You can get depressed more, you get more anxious, you are sluggish, and so you feel bad about that. You have an adversity to movement, and you basically want to become a hermit and not move. When you're fit, you are socially higher. You want to go out and do things. You're proud of yourself. Your hormones are entirely balanced, or as best as they can be in that situation, and you're literally happier. If if you're unhealthy, there is a cloud that hangs over you, and it's not a happy experience. I've been on both sides of the spectrum. When you are healthy, everything is just brighter. You're just in a good mood. And things still piss you off, but generally your stress management is a lot easier because you one practice it physically, and two your hormones are more balanced so that you can accept stress better in situations. Uh, Sadness, depression, stress, and anxiety, all of those are heightened when you're unhealthy, and all of those are better when you're healthy. I think I said unhealthy the first time. Yes, I should have. Okay. So those are some of the things I wanted to basically go across. And then there's proven aspects of fitness that help mental health and emotional health. Working out, resistance training actually is one of the best cures for chronic depression known to man, and it's been documented and researched in papers by colleges, by institutes. If you are somebody with chronic depression, I know a few of them. I'm bipolar, so I have chronic manic depressive. I'm chronic manic depressive, and I also have mania. So when your hormones are imbalanced, you go through cycles that are entirely out of your control. Resistance training is actually one of the main things outside of medication and inside medication that you, one, can control, and two, that works. They've actually shown that most antidepressants are less effective than resistance training and light cardio for hormonal regulation and hormonal balance for depression. And there are a lot of people with depression. Most people have depression, and then some people have chronic depression. And one way that you can entirely flip the script, you're still going to have some of it, but 80% of it can be taken care of just by resistance training. This is a podcast and I can't speak. um, when I first learned that I was bipolar, it was 2.5 years ago. Yeah. I went 28 years without being medicated, and I was a nutcase. Like I was out there. I was causing trouble for myself, and I knew something was wrong. I just never knew what. And one of the symptoms of being bipolar is you don't want help. And so it took a long time for me to accidentally meet a psychiatrist. And he's like, "Yeah, dude, you're bipolar." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Why don't you come into the office and we'll have an actual thing?" And he asked me, he's like, "How have you not like gone off the rails?" Because a lot of people that are bipolar, they end up in jail because of their manic episodes and things like that. And he's like, "How have you not gone off the rails?" And I told him that I was a personal trainer. He's like, "Oh, that tracks." He basically explained to me that because I work out consistently, that has acted as a medication for a long time. And he was balls deep into the research about that. And he's like, "Yeah, they're coming out with papers now that they're saying that fitness and just even light exercise, talking about once a week, that will help regulate your hormones almost better than most medications." Now, not for well, not entirely for bipolar. I should not go unmedicated and then go back to just working out, but working out plus the medication, PG. So that was a little bit of a personal experience I wanted to share. And the reason why I shared it is because I want to emphasize just how much it affects you and just how beneficial it is. Even if you're not trying to get swole, if you're not trying to get jacked, if you don't care about your physical health, if you care about your mental health and you want to feel better, lift some weights at least one time a week for 30 to 60 minutes, and it will benefit you. And then you might find out that, and you probably will find out that you want to do more.
Yeah, I would start at 1 day a week, and then if that's all you got, and then increase it as you can, because it will really help. I mean, working out is gotten a lot of people off cholesterol medicine and other medicines that they've been taking because working out truly, your body needs it and wants it, and you were meant to move, and stressing the muscles gets them stronger, and like I said, like we've been talking about this whole time, mentally as well. So yeah, work out as much as you can.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the cholesterol too, because not only we were talking about the mental and emotional health changes. It doesn't stop there. It stops at it's almost limitless. We don't know all of the benefits, but we do know a lot of them, and it's one of the cure-alls in life. And I'm pretty sure my friends and family are tired of me saying it. They're like, "Oh, I have this." I'm like, well, "Lift some weights." Like, "Oh, well, I'm stressed out." Well, I'll go lift some weights. And even my mom, she's starting to realize that she has high cholesterol. And I'm like, hey, if you actually, lifted some weights for her, fives, that would be it. But if anyone that isn't in the gym space hears, oh, you should go work out, they're thinking of like, like pumping iron and sweating and dying, and it's all painful.
Yeah, and
That's Go ahead.
yeah, a lot of my clients are also afraid of getting too bulky because
Yeah.
they are afraid that if they start to lift heavy, they're going to get huge. I'm like, without supplementation and really, trying to build muscle, as long if a woman tries to lift heavy, she does not have the testosterone, and she's probably not taking the supplementation to build the type of muscle that will get her bulky. So lift heavy, and heavy is a relative term. There is no set heavy. So heavy for you might be 10 pounds. Heavy for me
Yeah.
might be 130 or something like that. I don't know, just a random number. But yeah, you need to push weight, and that pushing weight is relative to wherever your level of expertise is, beginner, intermediate, or advanced. So yeah, it
I,
just lift.
I'd actually like to compound on that a little bit and talk about the women's stigma towards resistance training. Um, I one of the It's an art to convince, and I don't want to be condescending to women everywhere. That's not the case. I'm talking about the women that actually have come to me and say exactly what he said, that they don't want to get bulky, they don't want to get masculine. They always like they're like, oh, I don't want to get like jacked, and they always make the pose of somebody on stage that's like Mr. Olympia. And I tell them, you are not going to accidentally become a bodybuilder. Like you're not going to wake up one day, look down, and be like, "Ah, I'm huge." That's
It's going
that's
to take
not the
years
case.
for that.
Yeah, and also if you are genetically gifted as a woman, and you gain muscle fast, that's actually a really nice problem to have. It's not a problem because that means that you have to do less to get to your goal. And then once you're at your goal, you can make a decision because, like we said before, working out and exercise, it does change you, and you may have a different perspective and a different goal as you evolve into it. But if your goal is still the same, and you're like, hey, I'm here, then all you have to do is learn what maintenance is and stop. You can not entirely stop, but you stop trying to gain and you just maintain that figure until you get bored and want to do something else. And if you're the type of person where you gain muscle really fast, that's great. You're not going to accidentally turn into a bodybuilder. And here's another one. I do an ad on meetup.com. Not a paid ad, but meetup.com is a groups and events, kind of like Eventbrite website. And my company on there does a group and describes a group fitness class and a free personal training session, two separate events, and they're repeating. And I get messages on them all the time asking, like, well, why isn't there a? There was one recently. She's like, I don't see a women's workout on here. I only see workout for men. What is there going to be a women's class? I'm like, okay, well, Bobette, we're going to dive into this a little bit. And we talked about there's no such thing as a woman's workout. There is a woman's marketed workout where they're trying to market towards you. And then they're saying that, hey, this is only for women and this won't get you bulky. Beachbody invented the word toning. Yeah, they are the entrepreneurs of trying to get women to believe that there is a divide so that they can sell more products to you because you are in what they call a niche, which is women's fitness. And women's fitness is just like men's fitness: squatting, deadlifting, bench press, row, pull ups, all of the things with the heavy weights and all that. And if you want to start with machines because the free weights are a little intimidating, that is 100% okay. Wherever you want to start, that's great. Practicing going to the gym and practicing going and doing a routine, that is great first steps. Eventually, though, you should want to move to the free weights because of all the extra benefits through stabilization, functional movement, and things like that. And it's especially for women as well. Any comments?
Um, so for women and women workouts, yes, there isn't necessarily a such thing as a women workout. If you want to say that there are, it's just a workout that has really, really light weights. And most women tend to run instead of work out and think that that is working out, and that's not working out. That's running. And so lifting heavier is really a girl thing too. Like that, they need to be doing that. For hormones, like you were saying earlier, working out is the thing to do. It's rewiring a whole bunch of stuff in your brain and body to make you feel better in general. So yeah, I would if a woman is trying to find a trainer, get a guy as well because it's not to diss women. Women obviously know what other girls are going through and stuff like that. So if you want someone to talk to and you want to be feel like just safe, then get a girl. Yeah, but if you really want to work out, you want something that's gonna like benefit you a lot from lifting heavy, probably get a guy because they're going to push you. I push every woman I have. A lady today literally was like, I don't want to get bulky. And I told her, I was like, trust me, you're not. Just lift heavy. And heavy, again, is relative. So that's one thing. And kind of talking on, you know, women and men, a lot of women tend to, like I said, run and do aerobic exercises, which they need to be doing more anaerobic and building muscle because women especially their bones are going to start getting brittle as they get older, and if they're not training at a younger age then it's just going to get downhill from there. So lift weights. Another thing that I was going to try to talk about and mention is like we're hearing a ton about Ozempic and these super fast weight loss drugs that are supposed to be for something else, but a lot of people are taking this Ozempic to drastically lose weight, and you're seeing a lot of celebrities do it. This is an easy way out. This is not going to benefit you in the long term. It
Oh,
might.
I have a tinfoil hat conversation to tell you, buddy.
Oh God. All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But continue what you're gonna say. I
Yeah.
know what I'm gonna say.
All right. So Ozempic, it's probably an easy way out to lose weight. Sure. Yeah. Obviously, people are losing weight on it, but you're not building habits. You're not getting anything like sustainable for you because like once you get off of it, because you're going to need to at some point, you're probably going to gain all that weight back. You haven't established any healthy habits. You're probably going your diet probably hasn't changed at all, and you're setting yourself up for failure at an even older age. You're basically putting off or procrastinating hard work, and hard work cannot be substituted. There is no shortcut to a perfect body. You have to put in work in order to get the body you want. And if you just try to take the shortcut and easy way out, you're going to feel the consequences a lot later on. So lift, women, please.
So, Ozempic. I'm looking it up right now. Do you know who created Ozempic?
No.
Okay, so 2012, team researchers Novo Nordisk developed. Okay, so Big Pharma.
Yep, Big Pharma. That's all I know about it, pretty much.
Yeah, Big Pharma was behind the start of the development of an obesity drug. And they basically decided that it's not believable because there's so many fat loss drugs out there. There's so many fat burners and things like that. So about 10 years ago, they started a movement. And that was, we're going to get a little bit on some hot topics here, but hear me out. So they started the health is not a feeling, it's just sorry, health is not a size, it's just a feeling movement, where they were basically promoting obesity in fitness and saying that it's not their fault. They are who they are, and health is a mindset. It's not a physical attribute when it is. And if you're in a certain fat percentage, you have 95% chronic disease risk. where 95% of percentage of all chronic diseases, you are more susceptible to them. And then however, whatever habit that you're trying to really promote in your life, that's probably leading towards the leading one in your life, like smokers, cancer, diabetes, diabetes type 2, gout, all of the diseases that are caused by being overweight outside of the correct fat percentage for your body, that's real. And they were trying to basically say that it wasn't, and that you can live a healthy life. And they were proving it through blood pressure and cholesterol and things like that. And they were really pushing it. I even saw ACE, NASM, and personal training certifications also backing that for like one day. And all of us were like, no, stop it. Like, I'm, first of all, I'm an ACE certified personal trainer. And then I saw that on there and we all uproar. We're like, stop it. We know that you're trying to appease social media. Stop it. Like, we tell the truth around here.
Yeah, I don't.
And so a lot of people might get mad about that because they are basically being told that it's okay. It's not their fault that they're overweight. It's not, it's not in their hands. It's out of their hands. One of the things that they were pushing, just like how an entire religion gets built off of one part of the Bible, and they ignore the rest of the Bible, but they're like, oh, believe this. They leaned on the fact that there's an obesity gene, that obesity is genetic, and they really put emphasis on that. Yes, there is a genetic influence on obesity, but it's very minute. It's like 0.5%.
I was about to say that. I mean, if you look back in history, people were not fat. There was the rich were probably really fat because they could afford it, and that was a sign of wealth. But yeah, it I wouldn't say that it's genetic. It might be thyroid or maybe some other dysfunction of the body,
Right.
but
There
I
there
don't
might
think
be some chronic, like special population chronic diseases.
right. But this
But
body positive movement is trash and
yeah,
poison.
and they're also they're smart. They really are because they know what they're doing. They were putting race in front of it too. They're saying that black people gain more fat, and this is Big Pharma saying this. They're saying that black people gain more fat. They retain it, and fitness does not work on them like others. And they're also saying Latino. They're saying that Asian people can't gain muscle. They were saying a bunch of things, and we're over here like, hey, fitness is for everybody. It works on everybody. Yes, there is a small, minute factor of people that retain more fat. I'm one of them. I can gain fat so quickly if I don't, if I, there are body types. There are, and some of them are genetic, but it plays such a small role in, I'm a personal trainer. I'm fit. I, if I get lazy, I can get fat in about 6 months and, and not, or probably less. And,
Yeah, you
and
you
ride that.
you have like ectomorphs, endomorphs, and mesomorphs, and the mesomorphs are in the middle. I think endomorphs are the bigger ones, and ectomorph was the smaller one. I
You say end up MILFs?
yeah. Um, no, but it's like there are body types. There's small, medium, and large body types, and it's just the way some people are built. But obesity is a choice in most
Yeah.
of the cases.
They're basically saying no, it's not the Twinkies and it's not the Doritos and it's not the fact that you don't get off your couch 12 hours a day. It's not the fact that you drink beer every night. It's not any of that. It's genetic. And by the way, this is part of one big conspiracy theory that I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I'm a pessimist, not a pessimist, a skeptic, true and true. So we're getting to it. So they started that movement, and they also funded research projects so that they could get backing for it. And that's why I'm so wary of people that say, "But science says." And I'm like, well, have you tried it out yourself? Have you done your own experiments? Have you, are you a personal trainer with access to hundreds of clients in your career?
People need to
Uh,
know how to read studies. That's it, and they need to know sample sizes. They need to know what the
demographic,
yeah, and a lot of the control stuff. Like, was this
yeah.
even run properly? Was this meant to portray a certain outcome or not? So
One of my biggest things is, it has it been repeated, and is it repeatable? Like, yeah, And they're creating a social media movement. They're trying to get it protected by saying that uh, if you disagree with this, then you are against a certain group. And they're also trying to back it by paid science and trying to basically turn science political, which it basically is now. A lot of science is political now because companies have realized that they can do this. They can say, hey, we need you to find this answer, find it any way that you can. And they pay hundreds of people to experiment in different ways until they find that answer. And then they only take a part of it and run with it. And once the mass media hears a whiff of anything that sounds even anywhere ear pleasing, they aren't bound by scientific law, and they can do whatever they want with it, and then it becomes common knowledge, and then common knowledge becomes crap. And so all of this was done so that they can come out with an obesity drug. And this is the first time I've heard of Ozempic.
Ozempic.
Ozempic. This is the first time I've heard of Ozempic, but this is also the first time that it kind of tracks with the timeline. And so I'm like, oh, buddy, it started because this is the only drug that has no demographic. There's no diversity in the, or sorry, there's no one age, there's no one gender, there's no one race, there's no one anything that they have to single out. They can sell this to everyone. And it is one of the biggest money grabs I've ever seen Big Pharma do in the entire history of Big Pharma, which has been basically since the United States was born. And so that is the tinfoil hat story on this. Watch
Okay.
out. Don't take obesity drugs and work out.
Yes. Here's another random off kind of topic conspiracy theory that I have. You know, you've heard of the Great Reset, right?
No.
Okay, okay. All right. Well, for everyone who possibly has, here's a wild conspiracy theory that I'll take 3 seconds to explain. So apparently, the World Economic Forum is trying to push for a Great Reset. If you read, Klaus Schwab's COVID pandemic, the Great Reset, and all that stuff, basically trying to reset the entire global everything. Here's the thing that could be a conspiracy is they're calling for a Great Reset, like a change to where it's a stakeholder capitalism, basically communism, and they're calling for a Great Reset and to change everything. Well, I think that this is not really what I think, but this is something I'm trying to say that I'm thinking about is that they want us to call for a Great Reset. They want a Great Reset, and they're going to muddy everything. They're going to muddy the science. They're going to muddy politics. They're going to muddy the economics of everything, to the point where people are calling and want a reset of everything, and then they're going to push whatever they want rather than just force a reset on everybody because no one's going to accept it. People are going to be tricked into wanting a
Yep.
reset. And
True.
all of this crap studies, all of these crap everything polls, all this stuff is probably just to get us to call for a great reset on everything. That the reason I brought that up was because you mentioned, a lot of these studies are crap, and you can't really trust anything that you see anymore, and it's going to keep getting worse because it's all to make money. It's just all for DEI, or I like to call it DIE, and or yeah, the DIE and environmental governance score, EG, no, ESG, environment social governance. Yeah. It Whoever follows the ESG gets more money. Whoever follows the DIE gets more money, and they don't really do it based off merit or meritocracy anymore. It's just BS. So yeah, I feel like things are just going to get much worse. That is a conspiracy theory that I just wanted to mention. That was random. Sorry.
Whether it's pushed by an entity or it's just the natural order of what's happening, I think that's right. That things are being bastardized, uh,
Perverted,
in
all that stuff.
yeah, perverted in a way that nothing, especially with the outcome with the development of AI. I'm not against AI, but
It's a tool. It's
it's
just a
it's
tool.
gonna get right, and it's gonna get to the point. Like I'm not thinking. I'm not. I have a friend who does, but I'm not thinking that AI is gonna take over the world. Uh, I'm more of like it's a tool. It's a wonderful tool, but the thing is, there's gonna be I do believe that original work is going to go away. And but also, I'm able to create things like this podcast. Uh, Someone who has zero college experience in video editing and things like that, I'm able to do some things because of AI. So I think that it's a great tool, and but I also think that video evidence in law is going to be thrown out. At a certain point, there's going to be a point where video evidence cannot be submitted in court because can create deep fakes. A 7-year-old, a hold of the right AI, can create a deep fake and have me robbing a bank and uh, there's going to be a very significant case. It hasn't happened yet, but there's going to be a case probably on a federal level with somebody like
Almost
Lindsay Lohan
you
or
could probably say Kyle Rittenhouse was almost the first because the evidence that they tried to submit was altered and showing something different, and it was not exposed to the judge until the prosecution team accidentally showed their home screen and everyone saw the programs they had on there, and
hmm,
that was some fake evidence that they created to put into the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. So that is this is totally off subject from
yeah.
original, but yeah, that is kind of where we're all headed. And again, a tool can be used for good and or evil, regardless.
There's also going to be a point where somebody that actually did do it, got caught on camera, is going to be able to say, no, I'm sorry, that's a deep fake. And they are going to have to question it and be like, I can't prove that it's not. And so they're gonna let him go. And yeah, we are a little off topic, but we're talking about, fitness,
Well,
health, and everything else. So this
yeah,
is the
well,
everything else part.
to tie it back to fitness, someone could create an AI of someone getting in shape from like an exercise or a workout, and it could be totally false. So
Oh, that's already
there's no
happening.
there's no
Instagram
cheating
gurus,
exercise.
yeah, Instagram gurus and all that. That started with like manual Photoshop, but now all they have to do is say, "Hey, use my face and make me ripped," and it looked entirely believable.
Yeah, you're probably gonna get some before and after photos that are AI generated. So you people need to be careful. You know, pick the trainer that you understand, know, like, and trust. And we are two personal trainers that you should know that hopefully you're beginning to like and trust. And yeah,
And just as a statement, we will never alter our images, especially on this podcast. This is us, swole, and we're the real deal. All right, so we're at 59 minutes. We talked about. I think it was a great podcast episode.
yeah.
Is there any leaving remarks that you would like to input?
Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Be on the lookout for fake before and after photos. If you are looking for a trainer, make sure that they actually are real people. I'm sure I forgot what it is that you can put it into to see if it's a stock image or not. But yeah, just be on the lookout for that. There is no shortcut to a good, healthy body. You have to put in the work in order to achieve a good, healthy body. You cannot take Ozempic or any kind of weight loss drug and expect to live a good life. Because, again, you might be able to lose the weight, but then you're not establishing any healthy habits long term. So just,
You're just going to gain it all back, and you don't. Real quick, we're going to add one more thing. Let's say that you go on a crash diet and then eventually it doesn't work, or you don't know how to reverse diet out of it. And then you go and it's at the end of the diet, and then you go to Golden Corral, God forbid, but Golden Corral, and you just eat rolls and bread and carbs and everything like that right afterwards, and you get to the point where you're sick from it. You just created new fat cells, which is harder to get rid of than filling fat into regular fat cells or like growing regular fat cells. You have a finite amount of fat cells at any given moment. And when you binge, you actually, especially if you've had a carb deficit for a while, you actually create new fat cells. And it's those small details that people don't know that is going to be bad side effects from the Ozempic drug that they don't have to list because it's circumstantial, I guess you would say. And yeah, and taking the drug, and he mentioned you're not going to create good habits. That sounds like something like, oh yeah, no, I'm a good person. I have good habits. We're talking about fitness habits, things that you've trained into your brain to literally change who you are and how you act. And those habits are half of the benefits. Not only is a good body half of the benefits, but those habits and who you are, all the benefits that are on the emotional mind side, those are also the benefits too. You can't take a pill and then automatically gain self confidence. Oh, well, I guess you can, but you'll have a weird hangover. But you can't take a pill and gain accomplishment. You can't take a pill and gain work ethic. You can't take a pill and gain these things that literally, these wins that alter your personality. You ever seen The Karate Kid? He was a little punk. And then at the end of it, he's like, I am a well rounded, wise person. And that's kind of the transformation.
I am a Karate Kid.
All right, guys, I'm going to throw out some of our sponsors. We have sponsors now.
Nice.
Ranchlands Meat. They are local and United States wide. Uh, if you are ordering from them, just tell them that you heard it from us, and they will give you a good discount. Also, Prestige Labs. We are selling worldwide supplements from Prestige Labs. If you go to personaltrainerandcompany.com, click supplements, or personaltrainerandcompany.com/supplements, you can go to our website, click on the Prestige Labs supplements, and get any of the best workout supplements that you need. Not only for workout, we're still looking for a creatine sponsor, so stay tuned for that. But you can get whey, you can get whey isolate. You can get anything you need for gaining muscle, having more endurance, or if you just like to snack on chocolate whey, like I do, and it will help you stay full and it will help you lose weight. Go to Prestige Labs. We also partner with UCAN, and that is a highly refined super starch that it's a complex carb that basically helps you stay wide awake. It's not a caffeine or any kind of upper. It's a complex carbohydrate that mediates your blood glucose level and helps you not have crashes during any kind of workout or even during the day. You can take it before work, during work. You can drink it as a snack. It's only 90 calories and it works for about 3 hours. And so it just helps mediate your blood sugar. It will help you gain muscle if you drink that with the whey. And that's the combination that I'm pushing right now. So go to personaltrainerandcompany.com, click supplements, and it's all listed right there.
Nice.
All right. Anything else from you, Paul?
Nope. If you're interested in any online stuff, then you can head on over to thebirdacademy.com. If not, go to PTNC.
All right. Thank you for watching Buns and Thighs. We out.
Peace.